What is good, YouTube? The last award besides the All-Star and All-NBA team and All-Defensive team. This is the last award I'm going to do, and it's the Defensive Player of the Year. So this is a tough award, but I won't go through all the people I think has a shot at winning the Defensive Player of the Year. And I'm going to tell you my pick at the end of the video. So watch the whole video, subscribe. First is Draymond Green and Kawhi Leonard. They've been going back and forth, fighting each other for the last 3 years. Kawhi Leonard got the best of Draymond Green 2 out of the 3 years. Draymond Green finally dethroned him and rose up the Defensive Player of the Year. He finally beat his arch rival, Kawhi Leonard, the only guy he had to beat to get the award, and he was finally able to do it. I felt like Kawhi Leonard should have repeated as Defensive Player of the Year, but Draymond Green was ridiculous with the rebounding. He was ridiculous with the blocks. He had a lot of steals. He had made a bigger impact defensively, but I feel like Kawhi Leonard was the better individual and help defender, but Draymond Green was able to put and string together a lot of dominant, crazy Defensive Player of the Year type games, and he had more TV too, so a lot of people watched him more. A lot of people enjoyed him a little more, and he was able to win it, but I can't complain because he did put up a phenomenal season. His numbers was down offensively, but he raised his intensity going into the defense. Kawhi Leonard definitely has to be a pick because his ability to steal the ball without fouling, swipe the ball away, take the ball right out your hand while you're dribbling, while you're over dribbling, his ability to be like a wide receiver. He catches balls. You pass the ball to the wrong corner, he steals it. You pass it right in front of him, he blocks it or catches it, and it's just ridiculous. Like, wow, this dude, you can't make no mistakes because he's always thinking, I can stop this, I can get this still, I can get a block. He does need to increase his blocks. I think that's something that Draymond Green was better than him at for the last couple years, is protecting the paint, especially because he's more inside than Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard plays on the perimeter. Draymond Green plays more on the inside because he's a power forward. Even though the NBA becoming more stretch forward, you still got a couple forwards that stay in the paint, and Draymond Green can always rotate over, get a steal, get a pickpocket, get a block. If they try to dump it off, he can steal that too. To try to dump it into the post, he has more opportunities to get easier steals because he's faster, quicker, and he's a little bit more athletic than the other forwards because he's undersized and he has the shorter size. So all those passes you think you can get, all those run into the lane, he can always rotate over and block because he's quicker and faster than most forwards, and that gave Draymond Green a little edge on the steals and the rebounds. But I feel like as a complete one-on-one defender, I like Kawhi Leonard better. I see people struggle. I done seen Kawhi Leonard take people like LeBron James out the game completely, and I done seen them shut down multiple players where they barely could even score. I done seen KD get 50 on Draymond Green. I done seen Kyrie Irving and a lot of players give the buckets to Draymond. But when it comes to Kawhi Leonard, it's just hard to score. It's just hard to dribble around him. It's hard to pass to your teammates because he can just, like I said, be a wide receiver sometimes, and it's ridiculous. The next guy I want to talk about is Andre Roberson. The guy made an All-NBA defensive team last year. His defense is ridiculous. He shut down James Harden multiple times. Maybe because he's more longer and more athletic, he can cause more trouble because he can bang with, because he has the size of James Harden. Plus, he has the length to bother him and the athletic ability to stay in front of him and not foul, and it forces James Harden into tough shots. But James Harden is one of the best players in the league, a top 5, top 7 player in the league. He's one of the best offensive players in the league, and if you can shut him down multiple times, because James Harden has to be watching footage on how to score on Roberson, when to use, how to score, when to get a shot off, and Roberson has really literally just went out there and played his game. No matter how many times they have watched the footage, Roberson has been tough on a lot of players. He makes a lot of players struggle. He forces them into tough shots. He takes away the driving lanes. And if he can put up a little bit more steals, a little bit more blocks, and a little bit more rebounds, he'll start getting noticed as he's probably the best shooting guard defender in the league. I think he's probably even better than Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is obviously the better player, but Andre Roberson has literally locked down superstar players multiple times and made them shoot way too low or commit a lot of turnovers. Same with Andre Iguodala. Next, this is another individual defender, Anthony Davis. He can rotate quick. He can always be a cop-out defensively because he can cover so much space that he can bail out his teammates and protect the rim, get steals, crash the boards for the rebounds, and he can block perimeter shots, jumpers in general. He can block close out threes. His arms are so long, and he can jump, and he's so fast at clearing space that he can contest shots, and not only contest them but block them. And like I said, if you think you have a man beat like DeMarcus Cousins, like Drew Holiday, out of nowhere, Anthony Davis just come out of nowhere, block your shot, come out of nowhere, pick your pocket, and I'm looking like, I like Anthony Davis. The problem with Anthony Davis, and I try to tell people this, the reason why he cannot win Defensive Player of the Year is because his team doesn't win enough. You have to impact the whole team. You can be a solid defender. You can be a solid rim protector. But your team still has to be a great team defensively together. Not only do they have to be a great defensive team together with you, you also have to win games. You have to win games, and then your defense will be noticed. We all know Anthony Davis can defend. We all know that he can protect the paint. We all know he's one of the best rebounders in the game. The thing about it is he's not winning, and his team is not really thriving together. He's supposed to be able to rotate. He's supposed to be able to contest. He's supposed to be able to trap. He's supposed to be this crazy defender, which he is, but his team, it's just not rubbing off on his team. And DeMarcus Cousins is not really known for defense. Omar Ashik can't score, so you can't play them together because he's a dud offensively. They have to find a way to build a defensive team around Anthony Davis. Put him at the 5, put him at the 4, let him protect the paint, let him guard the stretch fours, make them the focus of your defense and anchor your defense. But until they can find other perimeter defenders, he would never win Defensive Player of the Year, probably because he's not winning and he don't have a good team defense all together as a unit. And as long as he has those problems, it's going to be hard for him to win Defensive Player of the Year. Rudy Gobert, is going to be hard for him to win because his team probably will lose more games than they did last year. I feel like he was the Defensive Player of the Year last year. To me, he didn't get it. Now it's going to be even harder because now he will have to win games and have a great team defense to actually be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, which he might not do because his team might not win and they might not be as good defensively. Even though he's still going to make an impact, he's still going to clog up that paint, he's still going to challenge every shot in the paint, and he's going to block a lot of shots in the paint. We know that it's a given, but they have to win collectively and they have to defend collectively, and if they can't do that, he might not even get a vote for Defensive Player of the Year. And if he do, it might be second or third place, which means he's not going to win it anyway. Same with Dwight Howard. He goes to the Charlotte Hornets. Cliff, he's a great coach to me. They was able to make the playoffs a couple times. They never got out of the first round, which was the sad part. Another thing is they needed the defensive anchor. He made Al Jefferson look good defensively, and Al Jefferson never been a great defender. He gets a player like Dwight Howard who's more athletic. He can cover more space. He's more active. He's a monstrous rebounder, and he's a rim presence, something that they haven't had in a while because they've been playing the Zellers and the Al Jeffersons, and they're not really known for defense. And he actually get a defensive anchor that he can actually anchor that tough Hornets defense around. Plus, he has Batum, who is lengthy and long for the perimeter. Kemba is not a great defender. They have Michael Kidd-Gilchrist too. He's a good solid defender. So now I can see what they're trying to do with their defense. They have Batum, they have Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, and I'm looking like now they have Dwight Howard in the paint. They got two perimeter defenders that's long and lanky and can cover a lot of space and have the athletic ability. Not only that, they can force the offensive player into Dwight Howard or force him into a wall, which either they're gonna have to pass the ball or go up to a contested floater, layup, or jump shot. And Dwight Howard can protect that and basically touch the ball. He can block it, put his hands up with verticality, or he can just force them to pass the ball or turn the ball over because they might rush into it and then they make a mistake. So I can see what Steve Clifford is doing with his defense, and I like what he's doing. He's getting perimeter defenders that can score and shoot and slash, and now he has a defensive player that he can anchor his defense around. Don't sleep on Dwight Howard. I know he fell off. I know he's not as good as he used to be. I know he's not the defender he used to be. But with these type of teams and a defensive-minded coach, he can become back important, and he can rebound still. So Dwight Howard may have a change of heart. We've been saying that every season, but he actually has a chance with a coach like Steve Clifford. The last player I want to give credit to is Paul George. Paul George is the guy that now that he has help in Russell, in Carmelo, Steven Adams, Andre Roberson, and they have a solid bench. Now that he has all that, Paul George can go back to being a great defender in general because he doesn't have to exert so much energy trying to be the playmaker, trying to score all the points, trying to take over game, trying to close fourth quarter points. He had to use a lot of energy because he was the best player on the team and he was the man. He doesn't really have to do that no more because he has Russell, he has Carmelo, that they can get the ball to them. He can knock down threes, they can knock down shots, they can go in isolation, and it makes Paul George and Andre Roberson more like we can just focus on defense and knock down shots when we needed to. Even though Paul George still going to have the ball in his hand, even though Paul George still going to be a playmaker to a certain extent, because they're going to need him to do that to take pressure off Russell and Carmelo, he still can focus more energy on being a great perimeter defender like he was in his first 3 seasons in the NBA. I feel like he is an all-NBA defensive player when he needs to be, when he wants to be. He just haven't been able to do it because he's been the man and he had to carry the load so much that he can't focus on defense as much as he used to, but now he can go back to doing that. If I had to pick a defensive player of the year, I probably would pick Kawhi Leonard, but we'll have to see because Draymond, Rudy, Andre, Paul George, Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard all got something to say. Let me know who you guys think is Defensive Player of the Year this year. Who should win it? Who could win it? Who you predicting? Is it going to be somebody surprising us? Is it a player that I slept on? Is it a player that I'm missing out on? But at the end of the day, check out my website, analysisplayground.com. The link will be in the description in the comment section below. Also, check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. The link will be in the description in the comment section below. All you got to do is click the link. It'll send you to my Facebook. Click the link. It'll send you to my website. And all I'm asking you guys to do is like to show support and sign up to the website. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis signing out. Peace. And hope you guys enjoy the rest of y'all day.